Welcome to Be the Change, and today I have an interesting announcement while you guys are joining in. It's just we are going to very soon, in few more minutes, we are going to launch a book, and I'm extremely excited because launching a book, that too, a kid's book, and I don't want to call it as a kid's book, I want to call it as an informative book for not only for kids but also for everyone who are like parents or grandparents who want to teach their kids and everything. So we are talking about it. Meanwhile, you guys are joining in. I want to introduce to a very wonderful woman. She's a very good friend of mine and a very smiling and happy go woman of today, Anitha Selvanathan. She's from Chennai and she's a blogger. She's the author of this book. Before we launch it, we'll talk to her. Hi, Anita. How are you?
Hi Jyoti, I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing absolutely great, and I'm so happy that you have written a book which is with pictures. So,
Yeah.
how did you get this idea?
Actually, I've been writing with pictures for almost close to 2 years. Like in the
Okay.
Pratham Book Story Weaver website, we have
Okay.
a lot of images drawn by famous artists. It is already there. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to just decide what story we want to write, and then we can pick the images from the website and we can write a picture book. So
Okay.
I've been writing this picture book for almost close to 2 years. I've been writing,
Wow.
but
Wonderful. Wonderful.
this picture book, the illustrations I guided, and I asked my one of my friend's son. So he has drawn the illustrations, Yashwant. So he has drawn. So I gave him the guidance, and then he drew the images and uploaded the website, and we have used that for the book.
So you have an experience of working with the picture book and picture art and everything. Now,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
plastic? Because this book is all about, an informative thing on plastic. So how did you get this idea? And what was the reason? Is there a story, a personal connect you have behind this?
I won't say a personal connect, but off late I read a book and I've been reading some internet articles about plastic pollution and how it is affecting the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading about that. So then I thought, okay, I'm writing books for children. Why
Mm.
not write a book to create awareness about how plastic affects our earth, and so
Mm-hmm.
that the young minds learn about the situation. So
Okay.
that so I was thinking of different story paths. Like how can I talk about plastic pollution? I was thinking of different story paths, and finally landed in one story path, and decided to go with that.
Wow, that's a wonderful idea because once your story path is defined, you to write the book with proper information is very very important. So, coming back to your background, you started your career in a different way and you have come to different way. How did this transformation in your career happen and how did this happen? Because if you see, digital media has just picked up in just 5 years. Before 5 years it was not much. So how did you come to digital media and how did it happen to you?
For me, like started blogging way back in 2006, actually, because
Oh.
in 2006, when I was working in a e-learning company,
Mm-hmm.
my friends told me about blogging. So
Mm-hmm.
from that time, I've been blogging. So yeah, of late it's been very popular, but
Mm-hmm.
of late there are some new models. Instead of blogging, there are other new models of social media which have come up and have become very popular, more popular than blogging. But
Mm-hmm.
I still continue with blogging because I feel certain types of content, it would be good if it is written, and you
Mm-hmm.
can do that. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, you still believe that the blogging is a way of connecting to people or sharing your opinion on a particular thing with blogging or writing, because I've seen you've been writing about different people from different genres and different sectors and how they made an identity of themselves. So how did this thing happen in your life? How did this happen?
So it was more like what they call, it's more organic, or it was not planned or something. As I
Okay.
was writing different types of content, so I thought like I meet a lot of interesting people.
Mm-hmm.
So very interesting people, very successful people in their field. So I thought like, why not bring out something about them and write about them.
Wonderful. So, when you're writing a book or a blog for children, what do you keep in mind, Anita? Because it is different from the adults, right? The adults, you have a different genre, and it is different for teenagers also. So, when you are writing a book for different age category, what do you keep in your mind specifically if you're writing for an younger kids or for middle age kids, matlab, adolescent age kids? So how do you define it? How do you write?
So for young kids, as everyone knows, we have to use simple language. We have to use short sentences. We have to
Hmm.
use simple vocabulary.
True.
So because if the language itself is confusing, then understanding the book will be difficult for the kids.
Very difficult.
And then because they are kids, they are more attracted to colorful pictures. If the picture is there, it helps them to learn better. There are different children
Hmm.
have different learning styles. Some people understand it better when they look at pictures. Some
Hmm.
people understand it better when they hear the story. So because there are
Hmm.
different combinations or different learning styles for children, so
Hmm.
a combination of pictures and words will be very suitable for children, because they will be immediately attracted to the colorful pictures.
Very true, very true. We are supposed to join with Yashwant, who is the illustrator of this book. Before he comes, we are having a discussion. People who are joining us now, that we are talking about the book which we are going to launch in a while. It's going to be a digital launch, and it is available for everybody to read in the website. And to talk more about it, we'll be having Yashwant, who is an illustrator. And how did he come up with this picture presentation, especially for kids? Because the reach for kids and interest for kids develops once you have in picture format. So, Anita, who is already a blogger, she herself is a writer, content writer. Now, Anita, you have spoken about different age category. Now, when you write, what kind of in future, you have launched this as a children book, but in future, what kind of content you be writing as a proper? Are you going to be into fiction kind of a content, or are you going to more of a documentary kind of content? So, what is your thought process in future?
Yeah, I would like to write a lot of fiction stories, but fiction stories, it's your imagination, and so a unique. It has to be a unique story with a
But very true.
unique characters with a unique twist to the plot. So
Uh-huh.
when it is like that, you have to depend on someone who has to create illustrations specifically for your book. But
Correct.
when we are doing it for other types of non-fiction, especially
Hmm.
at that time, because non-fiction you are writing about something very something in general,
Mm-hmm.
so it is easy to get the pictures. Actually, it is easy to get the pictures
Ah,
and
correct.
put it in place. For example, recently I wrote a general book about different emotions.
Ah,
So
okay.
it was very, from the image bank. It was very easy to get all the images, because all types of images were emotions were available in the image bank. Like someone happy, someone sad, someone angry. someone shouting, everything was there. So it was very easy to create such type of non-fiction book. But
Mhm.
fiction book, yeah, then I have to depend a lot on one illustrator whom I can guide and whom has to draw the pictures.
Correct, correct, correct. You have to
I
depend
think
on an illustrator.
Yashwant has
So
some problem. We can continue with the launch, I think. He has
yeah,
some
he's
problem.
having some problems, so we'll continue with the launch. Uh, Much excited launch, even I'm very much excited. So, who people who will watch us after we, broadcast this, it is a launch of the much awaited book of Anita, which I am very very excited to launch. So, I'm going to launch this. Please have a look of. Meanwhile, Yashwant Viswanathan has joined us. Congratulations for the launch of the book, Plastic Carry Bags Journey. Anti-plastic bags journey. It's a picture book. So I'm going to launch again. Yashwant has joined us. Hi Yashwant, how are you?
There is a lot of echo. Lot of echo.
Can you go on mute, Yashwant? Yeah, thanks. So it's a launch. So we are going to launch. Good that Yashwant, the illustrator, has also joined us. So before we launch it once again, I want to wish every one of them. Hi Yashwant, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great, and we are going to launch the book. We were waiting for you, so we'll launch it now.
No problem.
Please go on mute. Yeah. So it's a children's book, so I'm so excited to launch it. Plastic Carry Bags Journey. Author Anitha Selvanathan and illustrator Yashwant. So that's the launch, and I'm very very happy. And people who will watch us in the show later and who are watching us, it's the launch of this book. And first thing is Yashwant. So how did you come up? How did you come up with the pictures with whatever Anita told you on the storyboard? So how did you come up with the pictures in your mind?
Yes, she gave me the basic idea of what to draw. So for each image, she told me what had to be done. And this being a children's book as well, the pictures need to be a little crisp and clear. But if it's sophisticated, they won't understand.
Correct.
So, so you'll be focusing on one thing at a time, and the main object should be in front. So that should gain the main focus of the whole thing. So that was my intention during drawing these images. And
Mhm.
try to add as much as color as possible because being a children's book again, more color means more interest while reading. So that was the
Absolutely.
main.
Bang on.
So
So,
that was the main.
what was you going on your mind when you were writing, I mean, drawing for this book, especially the art, the girl, the turtle, and so many characters are there. So, when you're drawing this, how did you feel in your mind? Where did you do first cut on a paper and then you put it here in the system? How did you do it?
No, I did it directly on the system. I find that much easier, much convenient. And
Okay.
first, it was a hobby, drawing, doing digital painting. I never, went to any professional course or something. This was just a hobby
Okay.
that I developed by myself.
Uh-huh.
So I just did what my mind told me. And this
Mhm.
being a social issue as well, it was interesting to do it. It was nice to think that you're playing a part in some social cause. This is the first time I've done something like this. So I
Okay,
tried to put
wonderful.
as much as I can in.
So, what are you doing, Yashwant, other than doing art in digital? What are you doing other than that?
Yeah, I'm in class 12, so there's not really much time to do anything else. though
I
I had
didn't
exact details of what happened.
know. Very good. A 12th standard guy is doing a wonderful job of doing in artwork and using with whatever software he has and with the knowledge what he has gained around. It's a wonderful thing. It's an example to many of them, Yashwant, and I'm really, really proud that guys like you at this particular age are doing such wonderful jobs. And thanks to Anita to allocate such kind of content to Yashwant. So, Anita, what did you give to him when you wrote the story?
What did I?
What did you give as a content? Did you gave him the full script, or did you give him a basic
Yeah,
visualization? What was your
I gave
explanation?
I gave him a storyboard. So initially, before the actual start of the storyboard, I had explained what all characters will be there in the story, what is their age,
Hmm.
what dress they will be wearing, something like that, all
Hmm.
those details. And then
Okay.
the storyboard starts where each screen by screen, like I would have given him the on-screen text along with the instructions for the graphics, like what he has to draw. Like the girl has to be holding a plastic bag with vegetables, or the plastic bag has to float on the river water. So
Okay.
screen by screen, I would have given him guidance for what he has to draw. So that's what I would have given Yashwant in the form of a storyboard.
In the form of a storyboard. Wow, wow, wonderful. So we'll go and see the actual book, a snapshot of that, so that people can see, have an idea of what it is. So we are going to. I'm sharing the screen for everybody. So we are going to go and just have a look, slide by slide. So we are going to slide number one. Yeah, again. So, so this is the plastic carry bag journey. So Anita will be taking through us this, so that because she has written it, and Yashwant, wherever you feel like adding something, you can add any points after Anita finishes. Yeah. So Anita, go ahead.
Sure, no problem.
So that was the cover page of the plastic carry bags journey. So the first, yeah, this is the cover page where the in this story, like this first scene is where a young girl Roja, she buys vegetables, and the vegetable vendor gives all the vegetables in a plastic carry bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So nice. So next we are going to the next yeah.
So what she does is she comes home, keeps all the vegetables in the fridge, and throws the carry bag into the dustbin in her home.
Okay.
So next,
Okay. And then
next what happens is next day she takes the dustbin and empties the bin in a dustbin that is on the road. But when she
okay.
is emptying the bin, what happens is this carry bag alone falls outside the bin. It does not go inside the bin.
Oh.
Next what happens, there is a heavy rain that day, and the carry bag is carried away in that heavy rain. It's going in the flood water.
Okay.
Next what happens is if the flood water goes and the carry bag goes and enters a dirty river. There is a small
Mm-hmm.
dirty river. The
Mm-hmm.
carry bag enters the dirty river, and it
Mm-hmm.
goes further in the dirty river.
Okay.
Next what happens is after a few days from the dirty river, the carry bag enters the sea and it goes inside the sea.
Wow.
Next what happens is inside the sea, the turtle tutu sees the carry bag and thinks it's a jellyfish. So it feels,
Oh.
oh, I have a yummy dish here, and so it eats the
Mm-hmm.
carry bag.
Okay.
Next, what happens is because it has eaten the carry bag, the digestive tract of the turtle is covered with plastic, and the turtle is not getting it's not feeling hungry. There are digestive problems, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
able to eat. So because it's not able to eat, one day it dies of starvation.
Oh God.
Yeah. So if you then see the life cycle of the lifetime of single use plastics, it's really terrifying actually. Like how long without decomposing, or it's not biodegradable. So how long is the lifetime of each object? So if you see, the plastic bag is 20 years, coffee cup is
Oh
30.
my God. Plastic bag is 20 years, guys. Look at it. Yeah.
Plastic straw is 200 years. Plastic water bottle is 450 years.
Oh
Plastic
my
cup
God.
is 450 years. Disposable diapers are 500 years. And plastic toothbrush, which we use, it can be alive for, without breaking, it can be alive for 500 years actually. So
Oh
what
God.
happens is, when we don't use, when we throw this plastic away, or when it
Uh-huh.
goes to a landfill, and when it decays in the sunlight, or when people burn it to destroy the excess plastic, then toxic chemicals are released in the atmosphere, and it harms the environment. So that is the problem with the plastic which we dispose, or the plastic waste.
Okay, wonderful. And then we have an activity.
It's an activity at the end for the children to recollect the name of the objects, and then tell how many years it can be,
Mhm.
life cycle is there.
Wow. So wonderful. So there is a bag, there is a bottle, there is a straw, there is a disposable diaper, toothpaste, and kids have to see the earlier slide and then keep it in mind and write down what is the age of lifetime of each product. So that's been good. And now I have my question to Yashwant. So Yashwant, when I see these pictures, if you see, I'm very much, captivated by the colors, especially the turtle tutu. So it was very, I mean, it is very like eye catching. If you see in this picture, there is green, there is orange, there is white, and there is a glow around the tutu turtle. So, how did you process this colors combination?
So yeah, first did the background. So while doing the background, modified. I made the glow at the center because that gives more focus to the main image.
Correct.
And then I drew the turtle. The turtle, I intentionally drew only that. I could have drawn the whole body, but what it's doing that matters the most in this situation. So in this picture, that's what matters. So I centralized the face, and I put more focus on the face and some of the details on the face as well.
Wow, wow. See, look at this. So this is how it's explaining. If you have to highlight a thing, then you have to do this glow thing. Wonderful, wonderful. Another thing, we'll go to the slide which I felt really, really interesting is there is a two formats in this, like in each, instead of doing another slide, you gave an illustration here itself. So how this idea came to you?
So these are two simultaneous events. They're taking place, one instant after the other. So
Okay.
if it's on the same slide, that gives more. That gives an idea about what really happens. You throw you pour the stuff out of the dustbin into the main bin that is on the road, but this bag
Okay.
alone falls down. So to give more focus on that particular event taking place, I tried to place it in the same slide. So while
Okay.
reading, it's more easy to understand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very true. It is easy to understand for kids basically. So, and I love the way you did this cart and the kid and the seller. So, yeah, yeah. How did this thought of this come into your mind when Anitha illustrated to you?
No, this was the image of this was the first image I think where she buys the vegetables from the vendor on the road. So
Correct.
that's it's not really much. I tried to give more details on the outside of the road, but again the same thing. I tried to centralize the main objective of this picture, so I didn't give any outside details of the city or anything. So the whole book, I think that was my main motive to centralize the events taking place. So only in the pictures of the river and the pictures of the bag floating and everywhere, I gave a bit of a background, and everywhere else, I think it was centralized.
Very true. It
Very
was
true. It was
centralized. That was
centralized. That was
the
the
key point
key
I
point
felt.
I felt.
Rest of the
Rest of the
images were
images
like
were like
background was there.
background
And
was there. And
how did
how
this?
did
Who
this?
gave
Who
this
gave
idea
this idea
of
of
lifetime circle,
lifetime
Anita?
circle, Anita? Yeah, this Anita ma'am gave it.
Okay,
She
Anita,
sent
can
me
you
a
put in
picture.
can you put in sight on this? How did this thought came to you?
I had given it in the storyboard, like what will be the object and how many years. So using
Mhm.
that storyboard, he has done it.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is really, really a thought which would go to many of us, not only for the kids. And it's wonderful. And I really now how can people read this? We'll be talking about this. So before that, I'll remove this from sharing so that you can have and I thought on this. So Anita, how can people read this book and how can people download this and teach to their kids or in their schools or in their preschools or wherever? How can this be done?
This story is freely available in the Pratham Book Story Weaver website. So I
Okay.
will share a link. Like you can share it in the comments later, and also in the
Yeah.
YouTube descriptions. So
Mhm.
when they click on the link, it will take to that story in the Story Weaver website. There
Mhm.
they can just read the story also by clicking on the story and giving next. They can read the story also. Then after
Mhm.
that, there is an option to download the PDF. There's
Mhm.
a button, so they can click on download PDF and download. I think for downloading, it may ask you to log in. Like you may not be able to download without logging in. So it's a simple login, like all the other things. Give a email ID and password. That's it. So you
Wonderful.
need not give us too many details, and then you can download the book and you can give it to
Very,
everyone.
very nice. So, are you going to do many such books for kids? Because this is really, really very eye-catching and very interesting stories. Which one time it's a story. Another thing is it's an illustration and the content. When people see it with eyes, with the picture representation, it reaches to not only for the kids but also to the adults in a way. So, are you thinking to do something in a similar content in the future for kids?
Yes, I'm reading some more on plastic pollution. I may do something on the same line, but not continuously. But I was thinking
Mhm.
about how microplastics enter the body of fish and how from because the human beings eat the fish, the
Mhm.
microplastics go into the body of humans, and it affects the destroys the cell body and causes allergic reactions. So that is what I've been reading about. So that is one topic which I think of exploring, and then maybe there are so many angles to plastic pollution. There is not a single angle. There are so
Very
many
true.
multiple angles to plastic pollution and different ways in which it can pollute the atmosphere and the environment. So there will be a lot of options for more stories to come. And of course, I'll be writing other type of stories also, fiction and other fiction and
Yeah,
other
yeah. I'm really looking forward for your fiction books also. And many people who are watching us now and will watch us later, the thing is, please ask any questions even after the show. Because I'll be broadcasting the show and you can watch the show with the proper link and every details of where you can download the book and all the details. So, Harshita, Suchita Shetty, Suman, and who and all have others who have joined us now. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section. Anita will answer if it is about illustration and how what are other details you want to know, or if you want to connect with Yashwant on any of your projects for your schools and your colleges, you can get in touch with Yashwant and he will help you in doing it. Of course, it's with money; it's not for free. So, Yashwant, So tell me, Yashwant, what are your future plans? Are you going to do something in multimedia, or it's just a
Just a
hobby like
hobby
you
like
said?
that.
No, I think this remaining a hobby would be more practical because that's more enjoyable for me. I don't think of this as a profession anymore. So
So what are you
What
going
are
to
your
do as a profession?
profession?
profession, I'm looking. I'm aiming to be a data scientist.
Okay,
I'm very
data
much
Okay,
science.
data.
fascinated in data science and computer technology. So that I think that is going to be my future probably.
Wonderful,
Wonderful,
wonderful.
wonderful.
I hope
I
whatever
hope whatever
you want to
you
do, you
want to do,
should
you
do.
should do.
But at the
But at
same
the
time,
same
if you
time,
never
you
leave
never
this
leave this
illustration thing,
illustration
which
thing
you're
which
very
you're
good
very
at,
good at.
so this
So
will
this will
make you
make you
happy. Some
happy.
jobs
Some
give you
jobs give
money,
you
some
money,
jobs
some
give you
jobs give you
content.
content.
So
So
I'm sure
I'm
that
sure
when you
that
do
when
such
you do such
jobs,
jobs,
it gives
it gives
content. With
content.
my
With my
experience, I'm
experience,
telling
I'm
you,
telling you,
some
some
works give
work
you
give you
content. Like
content.
this
Like this
show
show
gives me
gives
content,
me content.
but some
But
other
some
thing
other
gives
thing
me
gives
money.
me money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
you should
you should
continue what
continue
you're
what
doing,
you're doing,
and I wish you
and I
all the
wish you
best,
all the best,
Yashwant.
Husband.
You
Thank
have
you.
done a
You have done a
fabulous job,
fabulous
and
job,
applause
and
to your
applause
award.
to your work.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much
joining
for
in.
joining in.
And
And
Anita,
Anita,
thank you so
thank you
much
so much. Thank
for
you.
joining
For
in.
joining in.
Anything you want to
Anything you
say
want to
before we
say
sign
before we
off?
sign off? No, thanks
No,
to
thanks.
everyone who has joined. You have taken
Thank
time out
you.
and
Join
joined
this
this
launch.
launch.
Thanks to
Thanks to
Yashwant.
Yashwant.
Thanks to
Thanks to
you
you
also for
also for
launching the
launching
book.
the book.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank
Anita.
you, Anita.
Anything else,
Anything else,
Yashwant,
Yashwant,
before you end
before you
it to
end
all
it
the
to all the
inspires?
inspires?
Yeah, I would like to thank Anita ma'am for giving me this opportunity. And this social issue is highlighted in children's books because it targets the more younger people of the society, because if they make a change, others will make a change, because they
Wonderful.
are the they are the coming generation. So they have to take up an initiative, and that's why this was highlighted in a children's book.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank you so
much.
much.
So, once
So
again,
once
I'm
again,
playing
I'm
this
playing this
video and
video
ending
and
the
ending the
show.
show.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you all for
joining in
joining in,
and have
and
a
have a
wonderful
wonderful
weekend.
weekend.
Take care,
Take care,
Anita. Bye
Anita.
bye,
Bye
Yashwant.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.